Hi everyone, welcome back. It is me, Little Bird. So, the next few experiences of mine are not going to be completely long. The two relationships that I had, there was only two relationships that I had that were really that black magic was played a huge role uh, in our relationship breakdown, and that was my marriage and my last engagement. My the two engagements between them, they were like very quick, and it was over. But black magic also worked against me when I was on my own, like when I was a child and sexual abuse started to happen. And then when I was a teen and I was reminded of the sexual abuse and reminded that I am dirty and I should be shameful and I have a lot of guilt um, and so on, you know, and uh, and then these rapes and the physical abuse and such. These weren't happening because I was in relationships. They were happening to me to to darken my spirit, to lead me towards committing suicide. But when I was 14, I gave all that stuff to Jesus. So from 14 to 19, you know, there was nothing there was no hold, like, because then it didn't make any sense. It started not to make sense, and then it was gone until I met my husband. And every once in a while, things would happen. And then when we had a family, you know, there's a pattern of what would happen, and then there's nothing would happen for a while, and then something again would happen, and then nothing for a while, and then something again would happen. And the whole 8.5 year relationship was like that. So now I am in Lethbridge, Alberta, and I have my babies. I have both my babies, and I am on cloud nine. It took me 3 months to get my oldest daughter back after moving to Lethbridge. My daughter was in foster care for 5 months, and I jumped now to 2004, because from 2002 to 2004, 2000, yeah, 2002 to 2004, I was clean. I was clean from April of 2002, and then I had another relapse when my daughters had been taken from me, and then I had cleaned up again. So I am in 2004, the end of 2004. And by this time, I have 2 years recovery. I have an amazing support system, both inside the rooms of recovery and outside of the rooms of recovery. I have amazing friends. I have a good job. I have uh, I have a nice home, and it's affordable. Like, I just I had my life together. I was the chair, or not the chairperson. I was the treasurer for CA. I sponsored people. I spoke to the newcomers. I encouraged people to to come clean, and I was happy within my life. And then I met this gentleman, and he was he was lost. And I had encouraged him to find himself. And he started to. And then he ended up getting found. He had committed a robbery and he got sentenced. And he made me feel sorry for him, because I knew that where he was, he didn't have any money before he went into jail. And me being a single mom, I didn't have any money for him. So he started to ask me if I could do 3-way phone calls so that he could get extra canteen, and giving me this blah blah, like, sob story. And I fell for it. I fell for it. And he went and asked me if I could have a friend of his come and stay with me. Some guy that was gonna move to Lethbridge, and he was already moved out of his place, and his place wasn't gonna be ready for a day or two, 3 tops. So I said, yeah, no problem. If you're not insecure about it, there's no problem. Well, the day that these guys, there wasn't just one, there was 3 of them. These guys came to my house. They surprised me, because there was 3 of them. So, I like to talk to people and get to know them. And these guys are in my home. I want to get to know these people. So I started talking to them. And I'm talking to them as a group, and I was talking to them individually. And then I got high with them. And I ended up having a threesome with 2 of them, while the other one had gone to the store. You see, I got high with them after my girlfriend and my best friend, like, these are my best friends, stole from me. My girlfriend, she stole my phone, and we got into this big argument, and then she told me she never wanted to talk to me again, and it hurt. These were my best friends, and I lost them that same day. So I ended up getting high, because I was being accused of things that I wasn't doing presently. See, I still had clean time up until this day that I used. After my phone was stolen, and my money was stolen, and my girlfriend and my other friends all told me that they wanted to have absolutely nothing to do with me. Well, first it was her, and then I got high, and then my other friends came and seen that I was high, and didn't want to have anything to do with me. So I got talked into doing a threesome, having a threesome. And I'm experimental. Like, I was completely experimental. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of my sexual experiences in life. I'm not ashamed of anything that I've done in my life. Because everything that I've done in my life, I've learned from. That's what life was about. It's for us to learn, right? And I learned that indecent sexual acts like this, they make you feel uncomfortable. And they are a way for these spirits to use this act against you. So after I went to the store and I got a new phone, and I just gave the guys that were there my number. because if anybody called anybody that they knew, I wanted my boyfriend to be able to phone me, right? So I get this phone call right after I did the deed. And I'm thinking, because it's a new phone, I'm being played with by the gentleman that went to the store. So this guy on the phone says that he is from the police station, and he's with the major crime section. And I started laughing and I hung up. And he phones back and he tells me that not to hang up this time. He's in a stern voice, and he told me that if I didn't believe him, to go to my back window in my bedroom that I'm standing in and look out my window. My house is completely surrounded inside my backyard and up on the rooftops. And if I look out the back, out towards the back and up to my right, my left, I would see a flashlight come on 3 times. I did. And I was mortified. Because this man told me where I was in my room. And all I could think of was, I just did this sexual act in here. And I was watched. I felt violated. And that feeling of being violated didn't go away, because I now have spirits around me that are working against me. And I have had them for a couple of days. So I am mortified, and this cop wants to charge into my house and get these guys, but my daughter is terrified of police officers. So I convinced the 2 guys that were in there to give themselves up. And when the police officer came to thank me for my cooperation, he told me 2 things that I tried very hard to forget, that the spirits tried very hard to make me forget. These guys were all being booked for murder, and that he didn't need to speak to me again, because everything that those 3 men had told me during the course of the time that they were with me were all lies. They never even gave me their real names. And I don't like being lied to. I don't like being lied to at all. It's one of the worst forms of assault on a person, I think. To make somebody question themselves, because those questions, they never have an answer. If you're constantly lied to, you get a different answer. I now lost my home. I got delivered an eviction notice at 5:30 in the morning. And I called my boss and let her know that I couldn't be in that day because I had to get my place packed. And she told me that I had lost my job. So I lost my finances, my support system, my contact with the outside. I lost my home. I lost all of my possessions. But I had a friend that was a believer, and she kept my pictures, and she kept them for 5 years. It was pretty cool. I ended up having to move to Edmonton and go and stay with my mom.